Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About It. Today we have a very kind of surreal topic. We're going to talk about one of the most complicated relationships there is, the ones we have with our parents. We're going to talk about forgiveness today. We have two special guests. We have Miss Tiffany Harris and we have Miss Paris Janzer, who are ready to tell their stories about the complicated relationships that they have with their mothers. So you might want to grab some tissue for this episode, guys. We're going to dive in. But before we get to our guest today, I have a special segment that I am now introducing to the platform called Cruising with Kai. Me and my son are going to be riding down the street and we're going to have a very detailed conversations about whatever it is we talk about. So stay tuned with Cruising with Kai. See you guys later. Bye.
On the show that we have going on today, we are talking about. I'm interviewing two young ladies. The show is about forgiveness, and whether you should forgive your parents or not. Okay, what are you doing? Why? Okay, this is. I'm not gonna edit that out.
That's all right.
The topic was about whether you should forgive your parents or not for, they had some traumatic experiences from their mom, and one young lady is her mom and her dad. So the topic was whether they choose to forgive them or not, and whether they do forgive or not, how does it affect them, as adults or whatever. So I asked them, I'm going to ask them questions and we're going to talk it through or whatever. So I thought it would be good to ask you, because I'm your mom.
You are my mom.
I am your mom. There's no doubt about that. See?
That's a true statement. That is my mom.
But a point that I'll more than likely be making when I'm talking to them is, there's no manual that comes with parenting. None of us know what the hell we're doing.
Right.
Like, none of us. People who act like they're the perfect parent and they do everything right and be judging other people, I scolded them because there's no formula, there's no manual, and even if it was a manual, it would not be applicable to everybody because everybody is different. The kids is different, the parents are different. We're all just trying to figure it out.
Right.
And I think I'm of the mindset that we all mess our kids up some kind of way. Whether not intentionally, a lot of us not intentionally, but because again we don't know what we're doing and we're just trying to figure it out. There's some kind of issue that every child is going to have as a result of their parent. I think it's just the severity of the issue.
Yes.
And that's what growing up helps you to determine what maybe those issues are and whether you fix them or not. Because I think everybody needs therapy. So my question to you is, and you could be, of course, honest, because I always encourage honest conversation between us, because I acknowledge my faults. My question to you is, do you think that do you know what things in your childhood maybe have contributed to some of the issues that you may have as an adult that I could have done differently?
That's a good question. I know there are things. I just have to identify them. But could anything be handled differently?
Maybe not differently, but is there anything that you can think of? I know one thing that I know is you are a very affectionate person, and I'm not a very affectionate person. So I think that you probably would have wanted maybe more hugs, and, stuff like that. Yeah, because that's not something that it comes more natural to me now that I'm older. But when I was younger, it wasn't even with my mom and my sisters. I just didn't do. We were a loving family, but we just didn't do a lot of hugging.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, but now I do. So I know that even though I tucked you in until you was like 14, that was the thing. But that was my way. You know what I mean? But it wasn't really natural for me to hug. I know another thing is you like the whole family time thing. You like to sit at the dinner table and eat dinner, and we didn't do that.
Yeah.
But that's a thing for you.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't say it caused any trauma, but I know it's something that you probably would have appreciated more.
Yeah. 100%. That it didn't cause trauma, but it was like once I started to like really experience the like when it comes to like family dinners and things like that, I was like, oh wow, like I was able to like immediately make the I guess distinction. I was like, oh, this is fire, you know. Like I think I was really, I guess, big on family time. Just because it like it looked. I don't know. Maybe that was from like maybe TV and like seeing all that stuff.
Yeah, you identify with a lot of TV stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And so I was like, because like I always wanted to also like live in a neighborhood where, you know, you ride bikes with everyone and all that stuff. Like
and the interesting thing is I did. But I mean, I lived in the projects.
Yeah.
But it was a community thing in the projects. We had everybody knew each other.
Right.
So I came from that. But, you know, I spent a lot of the time struggling and working and hustling that I couldn't provide a lot of that when y'all were younger.
Yeah, I feel like I recognize that as well.
Yeah. I was in survival mode a lot.
Super huge for me. It's because I recognize that you are doing your best, doing your provider thing.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you tucked me in, and I was like, yeah, you know, all is well.
Yeah, and I was going to do that until you decided I didn't want to anymore. You know, society has this thing of making it seem like boys, you know, you have to treat boys a certain way than you treat girls, and I don't believe in that. I think if your kid wants to be loved, you give your kid love the way that they want to be loved. They don't have nothing to do with whether they're a man or not, because there's too many men walking around with repressed anger because they didn't get that love.
Yeah.
But I definitely see the value of family time and, you know, doing that stuff now. But again, when you're raising kids, a lot of times you're doing what you do. But the benefit of you not having that and then seeing that other places, now you can see that maybe is something that you want to do and that you want to give when you have kids.
Yeah.
So I mean, there is a kind of benefit to not experiencing something and then experiencing it. But yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So it wasn't. It's not a huge big deal. I think another thing that was. I don't know. I just feel like everything I've kind of come to terms with, and it's kind of like, you know, it's not that bad.
Yeah, but it's okay. But it's still helpful. I mean, I like still to hear it. Like I said, it doesn't hurt my feelings. It's not. I don't really live in regret. I just think people should just. The past is what it is. You can apologize for it, atone for it, and then you keep forward and you do better in the future. But you know, it's okay to discuss it. You can come to terms with it, but that's even better if you have come to terms with it versus walking around with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you should be able to talk about it. That was a discussion I was going to have with the ladies on it, you know, whether they were able to talk with their parents about it or not. Because it's certain things that I will never, I mean, I'm telling you that because we can have those conversations, but there's certain things I would never have a conversation with my mom about because I don't want to hurt her. I know it would make her feel away, and that's just not something I want. Because my mom is, you know, I can take it. You know what I'm saying? I don't really want to do that to my mom at this stage. You know?
I feel that. I don't know if I have anything that like would maybe putting me on the medicine was, I guess, a big one.
Oh yeah.
Just because of the the effects of all of that. But I mean, I realized, I've come to terms with the fact that, you know, you were doing what you felt was best. And so like that's not, I was a lot to deal with as a child, especially when it came to school. So I mean,
I discuss that a lot because I mean, I hate that I even let them people convince me that that was the route to go. And I hate that school system is like it is. You know what I mean? Because it was just it kind of put some parents between a rock and a hard place. It's like, okay, when I didn't have you on it, I constantly got calls over and over and over and over from the schools. And it was about stuff that just wasn't even major. It's like, you got kids running around here terrorizing other kids. Now let them other kids tell it. You were kind of a menace to them, but it was only an irritant though. It's not like you wasn't walking around stabbing kids with pencils. You just was annoying.
This is crazy.
You was just the annoying little kid that couldn't keep still. You know what I'm saying? Like, but the teachers they would call me so much. And it was either calling me, and it created a problem because I had a job. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't keep leaving my job. I literally lost 2 jobs before because I kept having to go up to the school because they act like you was just, no, it's not your fault, because they act like you was just such a horrible kid and you just would not, you just couldn't keep still. You still can't keep still.
Just like to talk and play.
You did like to talk. And you would not keep still in your seat. You just had to get up and walk around.
Because
and you
I'm
still
a
like
child.
that. But you still like that. It's not even child. It's just how your mind is wired. You still walk around in circles as an adult. So it's like, but again, when you're a parent and you're overwhelmed, and you know, you got the school constantly calling, I'm constantly having to leave work. Then I got the doctor who telling me, oh, you know, this is the diagnosis. It's like, you know, when you're a parent, sometimes you don't know what to do. So I thought that was the idea, and it killed me because that medicine changed your personality significantly.
Yeah, it did. Like, you
was just like a mummy on that medicine. Yes. You was quiet, you were still, but you had no personality, and it was twofold. You didn't have a person. You didn't hardly have no friends when you were not on the medicine because you just was so irritating to them kids. Remember that time he was in the cafeteria and I don't know, it was and you would never tell me what really happened. It was never the true story. So I was never that parent going to the school ready to act up with the teachers because I know I wasn't getting all the story. But it was, remember I don't know if the kid ended up hitting you or he said something to you, I don't know, but in the cafeteria you 2 kids was talking and then you got into their conversation or something.
Oh, Samuel Noel. Oh my God. That was completely ridiculous. He was just a bully. That's all it was. He was just a bully. He was a bully. I was like 13. He was like a senior, I think. And I was just joking around.
You was minding their business.
Okay, it's not that deep though. I was just joking around. The same little prank I would do to everyone. Mm-hmm. You know, they're talking and then I would go in and be like, oh, that's what I said.
Yes.
And then, you know, everyone just, and then life goes on.
I know. They don't really wanna see me shine though. You don't really wanna see me shine though. I know. They don't really wanna see me shine though. I said, you don't really wanna.
Who is it? What?
Yo, I'm looking for Serenity Allen.
She ain't here.
She told me to meet her here.
And who the fuck are you?
She was a stripper.
How did you feel about her new occupational choice? I mean, you had to have some kind of disagreement.
She used to tell me that she wasn't making enough to support her and her daughter. He made in one night what we made in 2 weeks at the grocery store.
Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that little cruising with Kai session. That is going to be a regular session that we do because I love riding around with my son, having interesting conversations. But we are back and we are going to meet our first guest, Miss Paris Janzer, and she is ready to tell her story. So, hi Paris.
Hey, Tiffany.
How
Thanks for
you
having
doing?
me. I'm
Of
good.
course, of course. When I thought about this topic, I thought about the conversation we had because Paris braids my hair. It's still looking good. 2 months, y'all. 2 months. But we often have this conversation when you're braiding my hair. So I wanted to bring you on to really, you know, about it.
Share my full story. I'm ready to share it.
Well, we don't have no tissue up here, but we're gonna try. We're gonna try
I'm keep it together.
the main thing.
I'm keep it
But you know what? It's okay if you do. And you know, when other people cry, I cry too. So we might just be two crying people up here today, but it's okay. So I want to try to start having the conversation by asking a little background, because today's topic, of course, is about forgiving our parents and whether we choose to forgive our parents or not, and what's the holdup of not forgiving our parents. So, give us a little background on the relationship that you have with your mother.
So just in general, I have four sisters. My older sister is 7 years older than me, so technically I'm the oldest. I was oldest in the household,
Mhm.
and I have two younger sisters. I can't. We had a good relationship. I would say maybe up until about, it's crazy that I remember, maybe like second or third grade. That's when she got married. And it's like when she got married, the relationship just changed. But it wasn't always bad. Um, my teenage years, middle school years, it was a little worse because we always was getting into it. I was always the kid that was talking back, but if you were wrong, I'm gonna say something. So we always bumped heads. And even to today, we bump heads.
Mm.
So it's always been a very up and down type of relationship. I can't even really remember a good time outside of my childhood, unfortunately.
Really? And
Yeah.
the childhood before too, or
What do you mean, like before
because you said around
second
two,
grade?
around second
Yeah,
grade,
second
not two.
grade, third grade. So I guess I was about like six. I was really young, and it's
Okay.
kind of crazy that I do remember that. But yeah, that's when she got married, or usually like when she would have. Sad to say, when she would have a man around, her behaviors would change.
Mm.
When she wasn't with a man, we were good. My sister, we was with her, exploring. She was always a good mom, though. I would never take her from that. She always made sure that we was put together, had our things that we needed, made sure that we went to different events. So she was a really good mom and taught us independence and stuff
Mm.
like that. But on the emotional side of it, she just wasn't really there like I felt like a mom should be.
And how often do you guys talk now?
We don't talk. I got her blocked on Facebook.
Wow.
Yeah, I have her blocked. So I don't talk. I haven't talked to her since I went home. My grandma passed away, and after that, well, during that trip, we got into it. It's like every time I go home and get around her, we get into it, and so I just blocked her. I haven't talked to her since then. Even before that, I hadn't talked to her maybe like a year. So I can't even remember the last time we like had a conversation.
That didn't involve an argument.
Unless I see her in person, but I kind of try to avoid her when I see her in person, but I couldn't really avoid her because it's a funeral, so I'm going to have to see her. But I don't talk to my mom.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I just say it so nonchalantly because it's just life. It's
Mhm.
for me. So everybody's like, "Oh my gosh," I don't talk to them.
You know, that's interesting. That's one of my questions because I find it a lot of times other people's reaction to your relationship. Is that a trigger for you when other people go, oh, but because nobody understands what's going on but you and, you know, maybe your mom. But on the outside, when people say, oh, I don't talk to my mom, their reaction, does that trigger you?
It used to. I can feel the judgment that comes behind it because
Mhm.
there's some level of judgment because they're like taking like the reaction is like
Right.
what? But I've gotten used to it. I kind of expect the reaction like that now. I don't really let it. It don't really phase me now.
Right. Because I'm of the belief that And I know this it sounds harsh to some people, but again, I don't really care about what other people have going on. That it doesn't matter who the relative is, that your life is valuable and your emotions are valuable. So sometimes you have to cut people off, in order to maintain your own sanity. And of course, it is a lot harsher when it is a parent.
It is.
So that leads to my next question. Does it make you feel a certain way when you see other people's relationships with their moms and they're close? Does that tend to be a trigger for you? Or
Um, It is a trigger, but I've learned to kind of, I guess you'll call it compartmentalize it, or just put it in the back of my mind. So like on Mother's Day, when I see someone where everybody posting their moms, it kind of does make me sad. Like I wish I could post that, and it might be crazy, but I kind of post my dad. Like I know that's my parent, or I'm like I can't wait till Father's Day so I can post my dad. But I never really thought about it. I guess since I'm so used to not dealing with that emotion, I never really realized that it actually is a trigger because I'm like, oh, they going to brunch their mom, they're mad with their mom. I wish I could have that, but I don't.
right? And how does that when you go to try to have those conversations with your mom, um, is it something that takes a long time to get to? We're having a decent conversation to now I just can't talk to you. Is it ever a time when you can actually get a good amount of conversation out before you guys go into that area?
What's funny, this last time usually I'm the one initiating the conversation to try to fix our relationship. I guess I could share that part of it too. The last time, it was years ago when I really tried to have a heart to heart with her. My mom told me, fuck you. Like, I'm sorry to use my language, but she told me, F you, Paris, to your face. So after that, I kind of just shut down ever trying to have like a heart to heart conversation with her. But this last time, for whatever reason, because me and my sisters, my two younger sisters, like, she made sure we're all three were close. So, like, we're really, really close. And we kind of share the same emotions towards her. She wanted to have a in-person talk with me and my other sister because we're dealing with some personal things that we wanted to address with her. So I've been more open. I was willing to go and talk and kind of just be the mediator, so she wasn't like dogpiling on my sister because she tends to try to guilt trip. My sister's more soft-spoken or not like I'm the more like in your face one. So the conversation was going good, but it's usually her that takes it left, and it's like I can keep my composure as much as I can, and then I'm flipping, and then you gotta get from around me. So from that last time that we did try to, I don't think I'm going to ever try to have a conversation with her anymore. This is probably like the fourth time I've tried to, and I don't see no results ever happening. It's never any change in her end, so I don't think that it's ever gonna be a point where we have a clear conversation. Or when we do try, I guess to lead to your question, when we do try to have it, she always does something that makes the conversation go left. So it's never really been a smooth conversation that I couldn't think of.
So how does that factor when we're talking about, because the main conversation that we're having is about forgiveness, and a lot of people, for me, a lot of people say, forgive and it's the best for your life and blah blah. And I'm of split mind when it comes to forgiveness because in a lot of ways, it is more about you and you having peace of mind and you not carrying around, ill emotions and carrying around, ugliness because it affects your life negatively. But it depends on how you define forgiveness. I can not hold on to negative emotions, but still not have a relationship with you, still not talk to you, still not let you, interrupt my peace. But some people take forgiveness so far as to say, I release you of everything you've ever done to me type situation. You know what I mean? How do you define forgiveness as far as the relationship that you have with your mom? Is it one of those things where you can release it, or do you still hold a lot of those negative emotions inside?
So because it has been going on for years, I'm still navigating the forgiveness part and what that means because, like you said, people just tend to say, "Oh, I forgive you and release
Right.
you," and I let it go. So I had to go. It's been a full process. Like my sisters were close, but they're younger than me,
Hmm.
and I was always the mean sister or the bad sister because even when they were younger, I wasn't really seeing the things that I had started seeing my mom from a younger age. Well, you need to talk to mom and me to call her, and they used to always just be on my case about it. So until it started happening to them, and they came back and like, Paris, you're right. So it's like I went through that process, and then I went through the process of, like I said, when I would be around her, I would try to avoid her, and I don't want her to have that kind of control over me. So when I was around her, like the last few times, I am more mellow. So I kind of let go of like the resentment and the immediate aggravation that comes with being around her, because I don't like how it feels to me personally.
Right.
And now I'm to the step that I'm in. I guess the forgiveness comes in steps. So the step that I'm in now, or the area I'm in now, is just accepting it for what it is and doing my part on it, because clearly, like I said, she's not going to change, or she hasn't taken the steps to change to fix the situation. So it's like, as far as forgiveness, what can you really do when that person isn't doing anything on their end?
Right.
So I haven't fully, because I do put stuff so deep within, I just kind of cover things up. I haven't really sat with myself to really fully let go of some things or fully analyze how things have carried over into my adult life. So right now I'm just in the acceptance part, which I think will lead this conversation will lead to me digging deep with the questions you sent me. I'll be able to sit down and journal and let's start.
No, yeah, it's listen, this is a this is a serious subject. I mean,
Yeah, I feel
oh
it's my
yes,
makeup.
yes. So we're going to take a little break, guys. And we might have to take several
I
breaks
just want to keep it.
because this is no, it's fine. That's what this is for. Um, and we'll be right back
Okay.
after this break.
I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night. Try to catch me howling at the moon.
Hey guys, how you doing? We are back, and we're about to introduce another guest, Miss Tiffany Harris, and she is here to tell her story. And of course, we're talking about forgiveness, and whether we are forgiving our parents or not. So I'm going to bring Tiffany on. She is in Florida, but she lives in Virginia. So let's meet Miss Tiffany Harris. Hi, Tiffany.
Hey, hey, Puff.
How you doing? I got my microphones at work now, girl.
On making it work.
Yes,
CEOs.
yes, girl. We gotta do what we gotta do.
Gotta make it do what it do.
Tiffany is the CEO and owner of Custom Creations, and we're gonna let you do a shout out for your business at the end. We're also going to put your info at the end of the show, and it's going to be on in the end credits with your links and all that stuff as well.
Okay.
So people know where to find you. So of course today we are talking about forgiveness. I had Miss Paris on earlier, and we had to bring the tissue out. So just understand, we understand that this is a sensitive subject. So if you need to take a break at any point, just let me know, and we will take a break. And look, listen, when people cry, I cry. So if we need to take a break, I'm okay with taking a break. But I like to talk about subjects on this show that people can relate to. We tend to have especially on social media, we have a lot of toxic conversations, and a lot of people comment with toxicity when all of us are actually trying to get to better places of understanding. So my show is all about having positive conversations and having conversations and about things that other people experience, because your experience might help somebody else.
Okay.
So
let's start this conversation by you giving us a little bit of background of the relationship that you have um, with your parents.
All right, so I don't even know what number child I am. We're just gonna go from there. So my mom and my dad had me, but my father was married to my stepmom. I'm pretty sure at some point my mom found out, gained a real serious hate for my father. And then that's where all the turmoil began for me because I was born. My mom now hated my dad. She would not let me see him. She pretty much did everything in her power to keep me away from him. Now, again, I was a child, so I don't know if she knew something that I didn't and she was trying to protect me. I don't know. But what I do know, and from toxic situations that happened as a kid that are stained in my memory, my mom was the problem. My mom caused all the fights. My mom made it where my dad didn't want to be bothered with me. That's what I saw from my point.
So your dad was married to somebody else and had an affair with your mom?
That's what I'm gathering. That's what I figured because my mom was liking him enough to have a baby with him. And then somewhere along the line, when I came into the picture, my mom found out that my dad was married, and then hate ensued almost immediately.
Oh, wow.
So my whole growing up in my life, my mom, there was nothing my dad could say to her, nothing without her snapping. I can remember her just doing crazy stuff in the middle of the street. It just didn't matter. She hated him. And even when I was on my deathbed as a child in the hospital, my mom would not let my dad in. They were literally fighting over him trying to come in and see me. And my mom was like, no. I don't know why she was that hard up on him not being in my life. I don't know what happened to make her feel like that, beyond the fact that she found out he was married and she gained a hate for him. And then she just never recovered from it, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And you know, when I was talking to the other guests, it was a point made that we tend to, you know, as children, it's like an automatic thing to idolize our parents, right? We have a pedestal that you automatically put your parents on because that's your kind of first example of, you know, I get superheroes, or you know, because they are the people who are providing for us. And sometimes it's hard for us to see past that, to know that they're human beings too, and they're humans too, because now, you know, of course, not to justify any of her actions. Now, as an adult, if let's say the situation was, okay, she found out that he was married and, you know, she loved him or whatever, is that something that you can understand as a woman yourself? Not as it relates to you, the child, but as a woman yourself, is that something that you think that you can, you know, have an understanding from just on that surface level?
Oh, well, of course. Yeah. So I can understand being in a relationship, or back in the 80s, a situationship, and not having any knowledge that this is not really your man. I can understand that, but I don't understand that once you made a baby with this man, regardless of how much you dislike him, for you to keep the child away from him. And the reason why I can say keep the child away is because I can remember my father coming to pick me up on numerous occasions, or coming to see me, or coming to see about me, and my mother stopping him right from the rip. And there was no talking. There was no, all he would say is, spare me, Marion. That's all my dad would say to my mom. And my mom, just going off in the middle of the street, in the middle of the grocery store, in the middle of the school, in the middle of the hospital, wherever she felt like it. That's what she was going to do, show out and show off. So I took that to be, now I understand she probably hated him, but back then I just was like,
you were a child, right?
Lord, like, why is she so mean to him? Like, I remember saying to her, like, well, Mom, he was getting ready to take me to go get my bike. And she's like, if he was going to really get you a bike, he would have just bought the bike over here. And then my dad is saying, well, I was just trying to take you to have the experience for you to go to the store and pick out your own bike. And my mom was like, she don't need no bike. And then I'm over here like, but I want the bike. Like, what are you doing? And yeah, it just was a hard situation. And neither parent was really truly there. I feel like my siblings on my mom's side, I have an older brother and an older sister. They are 10 and 11 years older than me. So I feel like by the time my mom had me, it was like mistake heaven, you know? And I thought I loved this, but he played in my face, and now I'm stuck with this baby. So after some time, it started to come off to me as the child. She doesn't want me. When she's leaving me at random people's house, or she tells my sister, who's only 11 years older than me, when I'm 9 and she's 20, I need you to watch your sister and then don't come back. Or when she does show back up, she's only coming to get me so that she can take me to a shelter, so that she can get in and have somewhere to sleep for the night. Or she uses me as a pawn to be able to live with whoever because she's homeless. Like, she would do things like that up until my sister was like, nah, she could stay here. You don't gotta come back no more. You don't gotta get her, or you don't gotta take her, or whatever. And then trauma ensued at my sister's house. So it was just, my life was just traumatic. And now I see, as an adult, I'm trying so hard to not be like Mom. But I find myself kind of like, my mannerisms are like her, like the way that I talk, my vernacular. I am very educated, but I speak like my mother. It's to me, it's nothing wrong with it. But at the same time, it's like when you gain that knowledge of how you don't have to speak. Because, you know, like a lot of the times we speak in a way just to be a part of something. And a lot of Black people speak in a way where it's like, so that we can be down, we can be a part, we can be of the people. And I don't feel like we have to speak like that. I don't feel like we should have to be like that. But it's set up that way for whatever reason for us to be like that. So we have these super women that run out and try to be so strong and be the superwoman or the superhero for everybody in the family. And it's okay for other women and cultures to be soft and live a soft life. But Black women, we got to be so strong and so powerful. And it's just like, I don't want to be strong. I just want to be chill. Like, I just want to relax. I'm tired of being strong. I had to fight literally my whole life. I'm like damn near midlife crisis over here. Like, I'm almost hitting the mid mark of my century. And you're telling me that I'm still unable to live soft. I still have to be strong. Like
and
how
we
my
haven't
mom
healed, and we haven't even healed from our
No.
traumas and the things that we experienced when we were younger, because our moms had to be strong, or they had their traumas that they had going on. And of course, you can't have trauma. That trauma just go to sleep, rub something on it. You know,
drink some ginger ale.
Drink some ginger ale, right? Ain't no therapy, ain't no, you know, because if you dealing with something, it means you're weak. It don't mean that you need to heal.
Right.
It means that you need to figure it out and get it together. So yeah, we carry that on our backs.
And if you need therapy, then you're crazy because you need therapy, or you're going to see a therapist. But it's like all these things that we've been programmed to believe. And I do believe that at some point there needs to be some form of forgiveness for everyone. But it's difficult. It's difficult to just get to that point, especially if it's your parents, especially when, for me, my mom did all of that and I watched her, and then I watched not visually watched, but my father was murdered when I was 14. So I feel like if my mom hadn't been preventing me from knowing this man or getting to know him or him getting to know me, I wouldn't feel like, man, I wonder how my dad was, or I wonder what kind of a man he was, or, I only can go off of the things that I heard. I know he was a liar and a cheater and a manipulator and a woman beater. I know all these things because the women in his life told me. I know that Papa was a Rolling Stone because I have not one, not two, but 6 siblings from my dad, and they're all girls. So it's just like, I get that he did something. I don't necessarily know exactly what it was, but I know he did something to make her get to that point. But I don't know if, as a mother, I would be to that point. And matter of fact, I'm not, unless he did something to hurt me physically, I would not be able to be, as a mother, be at that point. And I can 1,000,000% say that I know that for a fact, because I have a child whose bio father tried to kill her at age 2. And that was probably the hardest thing in my life that I had to forgive a person for.
Right.
So,
and
I feel like if I could do it, my mama could have did it.
Yeah, and you know what? That's a conversation that I've had with a lot of, other single mothers, because, I have 2 kids, and they have different fathers, and them dudes took me through a lot, okay. And my best friend used to always be like, "Girl, I don't see how you could deal with. I don't see how you could deal with that." I dealt with it for my children. You know what I mean? It was hard to put up, me driving to bringing them the kids and them playing games and all of that stuff. It was hard to deal with that stuff, but I did it for my children. I put up with those things so that they don't have to experience, what goes on when you have that toxicity between parents. I decided to be the bigger person in those situations. It was hard on me, yes, but it was for them. And that's not an easy thing to do. What you just said, it's not easy. It ain't easy it ain't easy to be hurt by. I know it can't be easy to be hurt by a man and still have that man around because you have children with them, but you got to for your kids. You know what I mean? Like you have to swallow that. When I watch a lot of women play games and keep their kids from their fathers, I'm like, you hurting the child more than you hurting him. You are damaging that child. And I get it. Like, I get it. Again, it was hard. But I knew that at the end of the day, as my children got older, they would know who was doing what. You know what I mean? Like, they would know that I was the one riding for them. Yeah, it was hard for me to be struggling and them to come along like they was the princess buying the shoes and the nice stuff, but I was the one doing the work. So it wouldn't have benefited me to be out in the street arguing with them. It wouldn't have benefited. It would have only traumatized them. So at the end of the day, the trauma that the kids endure is just not worth that anger and that frustration and that the fighting and the arguing and it's just not worth it. And I know it's hard because it really depends on what type of person you are, right? If you are just like we've talked on the line plenty of times. We are the type of people that were always the nice people, right? The tolerant people. So maybe that aids in the attitude that we have when it comes to dealing with, the difficult people when it references to our kids. So maybe it's hard to be in the mindset of, somebody, like your mom who had a difficult time, being more mom than she was angry at him. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to maybe. Have you ever been able to sit back? I mean, now as an adult and really, really process what her mindset was You know what I mean? Like, have you ever been able to mentally step into her shoes, thinking about the interactions that you had? Was that ever possible for you?
No, because any interactions that I had with my dad, she basically made it where the interaction was null and void expeditiously, like almost immediately, before you can even get a chance to say, "Hey, Dad," she was on it. And I can remember a couple of times that they were in the same space, and you can just tell it was so tense that they were just in that space just for me. And that was like the only time I can remember my dad giving me any kind of advice. And basically all he told me was, if you don't save your money, you're going to be rolling coins to take to the corner store to trade them in for dollar bills or something along those lines. Because that's what he had me doing. He had me rolling coins.
Remember that though. Like, that is so interesting.
Because that's the only time I can remember them not arguing, not fighting.
Wow.
So the only thing that came out of that was I asked him to give me money for lunch or something. And instead of him just going in his pocket and giving me a $5 or a $10, a $2 or $5 or whatever, he didn't, because he didn't want my mom to take it. So the way that he went about doing it was, I'm going to make you work for it by rolling up these pennies. And then I'm going to walk you around the corner to the store. And then you're going to give them the rolls of pennies and they're going to give you the $2. And that's what I did. And on the way walking me around to the store without my mom, he said, if you don't save your money, you're going to find yourself rolling up change to cash in at the corner store.
Wow, that is so, that's really, that's so surreal. Like,
I may have been like 10 or 11.
That's so surreal that even that, how clear that one memory is, because it was so much of the other. Wow. Have you ever, while your mom was still here, did you ever try to have a conversation with her to ask her why the situation? You never did?
No, my mom wasn't the type of person you was going to ask why to. Never. She just was one of those parents, like, just don't ask me why.
Wow.
It's because I said so. Like, she was one of them. So yeah, you're not asking why. Like, even up until, like, she was in my house on her deathbed. So she was living with me because she made a statement that said she didn't want to die in the nursing home. So I removed her from the nursing home so that she wouldn't, die in the nursing home. But she made a statement to me, and it was mainly because I was asking her, like while she was dying, I wanted to tell her like how I was really feeling so that I could give her a chance to like apologize. I couldn't get it out because back then I was a people pleaser and I only cared about her feelings. I didn't care about mine. I didn't care that I knew she was going to die and I wasn't going to get no closure. I didn't care about none of that. All I cared was that I didn't want to hurt her feelings in that moment because she was the victim at the moment she was dying. So none of my childhood didn't make me a victim anymore. She was more important in that instance. And now I realized, I should have just said what I had to say because now I need to get off. But then it took 5 to 7, maybe even 10 years of therapy, of going back and forth over this. Same thing with the bio dad. I don't know what you call him, but he's nobody to us. But there was so many instances because my mom died in the same year that he did that to my baby. So I'm dealing with that all at the same time. And it was a lot. And my daughter is in one hospital, Children's Hospital in Philadelphia. And then my mom is in the University of Pennsylvania. They're connected. They're right next door to each other. They're connected through like by a tunnel. So I'm literally running back and forth between the two hospitals for my mom and my daughter. And CPS currently got my daughter because of what he did. So I'm fighting to get my daughter back. I'm trying to make sure that my mom is straight, even though she dropped the ball a lot when I was a kid. But in my mind, I'm raised as you don't leave your family stranded or lost or stuck. And whoever taught me that, to hell with them, because lead them. Leave them all. Leave them stuck, leave them broke, leave them destitute. Leave them because they don't care about you. I had 2 heart attacks trying to help everybody and nobody cared. And when I sit back and think about it, it's like, where did I get this thought that I have to please everybody, that I have to be the best version of me for every single last person? Where did I come up with this? And then it hit me. This is me trying so hard to not be like my mom.
Or trying to please your mom in a way that you might have thought that you needed to do when you were younger, and it kind of went into your adulthood. Because I feel it hurts my heart that you never even got to ever say, "Hey, mom, this is hurting me."
Nope.
Like that just really, that hurts my heart.
Never to my father either. And then like, I feel bad because my dad, so when I was 14, I used to have really bad seizures when I was a kid. And when I was 14, I had an allergic reaction to some seizure medicine because I was a big 14-year-old apparently. And it gave me like an adult dosage or whatever of seizure medicine. And then I had an allergic reaction to it. And it just like really knocked out like a lot of my organs or whatever. So I was literally dying. They had to bring in like specialists from like Japan or whatever to come and like save my life. So my dad came up to the hospital, like basically to kind of like to come pay his respects, come see his child, because he knew it was going to be a problem with my mom, but I still got to let her know that I'm there because we have.
Experience the best of both worlds with Janzer's braid services. Enjoy affordable pricing and premium quality braids that eliminate the need for daily styling.
Hey guys, we're at our second location for the Puffs Best of, the Sweet Girls Bakery, located on 5907 Roosevelt Boulevard. I'm excited to go in here because they have macarons and I love macarons. So let's go inside and check them out. Hi. Hi, I am ready to get some treats.
Awesome. You're a macaron girly, right?
Yes.
Change of flavors. Okay. So for this set, my favorite is going to be the champagne and probably the salted caramel.
Okay, I'll try the champagne and let me try. Okay, I'll try salted.
You sure?
Yeah, because I had two different ones last time I was here.
Okay.
Every time I'm gonna try
something new.
Yeah.
And every time you come back, it'll probably be new flavors in here. So I keep a couple of the staples, but a lot of them I like to switch up. Okay.
My ex-husband, who is my boyfriend.
I love that.
My what I call him, my husband.
Your husband.
That's his name. So I'm gonna get him some cookies because he loves cookies.
Okay, so all of our cookies are at least a quarter pound. And I do switch these flavors out too. You'll always see the chocolate chip and chocolate chip pecan. I always say that they sit on their throne because they'll always be in those two spots, but everything else will change. Actually next week. Because we're gonna put some pretty Valentine's Day stuff in. Yes. This one, that one, and then the white chocolate toffee, chef's kiss. Those are my absolute favorite. Okay. Yeah, because it's really sweet.
So, he likes
Peanut butter? Okay. German chocolate? Yeah.
So how long have you been open?
So I opened up in this location. So I had another location, super small. I was mainly using it as a commercial kitchen over on San Jose. And then I prayed for this location and I found it, and we actually opened in the beginning of September. Yep. And we did our grand opening in October, and it's just been going really well.
That's good.
I love it over here.
I love tea parties, so I'll definitely have to come here.
Yes, you gotta come to a tea party with us. So we do a high tea, and you can do it with as many people. We advertise it as a tea for two, so it's kind of intimate, but you can add more people to it if you want to. And then you'll get your pot of tea and an actual tea set. We have our tea set sample over here. And then you do like the 3-tiered tower with your finger sandwiches, your scones, and it's like a high tea because you get your clotted cream with your scones, your jam, your butter, and I make the lemon curd fresh and the jam. And then you'll get your desserts at the top.
Okay, y'all, we have to come in.
Yeah, y'all gotta come do a high tea with me.
With the little giraffe, we gonna wear our hats and
Yes.
stuff too. Okay,
I would love it. Is this gonna be all for you?
Coffees too.
Yeah, we do. We serve espresso-based drinks. So you can do lattes. We have energy drinks with the Red Bull. And then we do hot chocolate and hot teas.
Awesome. So listen, you guys, we have got
Yeah.
ASAP, because it is. I've already had the macarons.
Ron.
I've already had the macarons, and it is delicious. I mean, I love it because I've had macarons like that. They really are a favorite for me. And yours were really, really delicate.
Thank you.
They were really, really good. Like
Yeah.
I almost came back and got some more, but I'm not going to eat.
Excuse me.
But
So when you and your husband get married, we can do a whole macaron tower.
we probably gonna do all that, but it's okay.
Or have a birthday.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, guys, I have my treats. Oh my God, I cannot wait to go home and devour this. This is for you guys too. I'm still sacrificing for you guys because you know I'm on my little cleanse. But you know, this is for y'all. You know, I'm holding it down for y'all. See you later. Bye.
This virtual film show was created during the pandemic and brings comic relief for viewers of all ages.
This guy painted the wrong house, then left the job and finished.
Yo me contrataron para pintar la casa. He basically, they hired him to paint the house.
That's my ruling for the plaintiff, $3,850.
Wait, $3,850? That is too much, Your
Your
Honor.
Honor, Your Honor,
I'm not.
that guy's speaking English.
For political correctness, not so much.
That's his child. The little boy don't look nothing like me. He's 6 years old. You still breastfeed him. He can't read, he can't walk, he can't talk. Ain't nobody in my family dumb.
We just give the people what they want.
I go outside. She done put the 24s on the wheel. So then we went back inside. She was like, "What you got for me?"
I don't even know who Rachel Ray is to even care that
She's
you got
famous white lady.
Who
She's
is
famous
Rachel?
white lady.
Judge Greg and his always very professional bailiff Ebony check all the boxes for these civil litigations.
All right, guys, welcome back. And that was Puff's Best Of. It was nice to have, you know, some sweet treats after that very sensitive subject. And y'all know I love me some donuts. Thank you so much again for Ms. Paris Janzer and Ms. Tiffany Harris for coming to tell us their story. It shows us that there is not a one size fits all to how we deal with forgiveness and, you know, being able to move on. Thank you so much for being guests on the show today. All right, guys, that is the end of the show. I hope you guys took something from that show because that was very heartfelt. Join us next week. We're going to keep it fun and budget friendly next week. We're going to talk about thrifting, how to look like $1 million on the low. We're going to teach you how to shop and find some really cute stuff, you know, without breaking the bank. So join us next week on Gen X TV, Monday at 8 p.m. Download the app, guys, on Amazon and Roku. You can also follow us on YouTube at Momentous App Media and on Instagram and Facebook at Let's Talk About It _Puff. We will see you guys next week. Thank you for joining us. And remember, Keep it real with yourself, keep it true to yourself, and don't let other people's judgment have any effect on you at all whatsoever. See you guys next week. Bye.